the frequency of certainty. The more certainty you have, the faster you will gain the things you want in your life. The more doubts you have, you push away miracles, you push away love, you push away answers, you push away fulfillment. Certainty in what? Having certainty in this person is my soulmate, or having certainty in this home is my home and I'm going to bid on it, or having certainty in this business deal needs to happen the way I want it to. That's a limited type of certainty. What we're talking about is certainty in the light of the Creator, that no matter what's going on in my life, it's for the good and the fulfillment will happen. In fact, it's already happened. I just haven't experienced it yet. That level of certainty always connects you to the realm of miracles and speeds up your process.
David Ghiyam, welcome to Passion, Love, Pursuit podcast. I'm so excited to dive into this conversation today because I recently discovered you and was introduced to your work. And I'm absolutely intrigued because, number one, you are known as the leading speakers for teaching Kabbalah. And I know a lot of people have probably heard your work or follow along with your work or your program. But I'm a student, so I'm excited for this conversation. So anybody that's new to Kabbalah or want to learn more about it, you're in the right place. So welcome, David, to the show.
Thank you for having me, Erica. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, I think the best way to start is, what is Kabbalah? And is it a religion? And can people that have certain religious beliefs also follow Kabbalah and the teachings?
Sure. First, Kabbalah is universal, ancient, spiritual wisdom that explains the reason why our souls came down to this world and how we can achieve the greatest amount of fulfillment. Kabbalah is considered to be like the spiritual backbone of all the major religions, stemming from Abraham and even before. And one of the things that I've noticed on my platform, if you follow me on social media, I have every demographic, every religion, and I get written to daily how Kabbalah has helped them connect deeper to their understanding of their religion, their spirituality, and help connect all the dots. So that's what Kabbalah does very well. It explains these secrets of life in the same way that we have physical laws, such as gravity. Everyone in the world, regardless of what you believe in, we have to adhere to gravity. There are spiritual laws behind relationships, behind human consciousness, behind healing, behind attracting abundance, behind finding our purpose, behind being in the right place at the right time and creating miracles. There are universal spiritual laws. And this is what Kabbalah so succinctly and simply explains for all souls in this world. I started getting into it when I was 15 years old because an uncle of mine told me, saw my potential, saw what I craved at that young age, and said, come to study Kabbalah. It's life-changing. And I said, well, I'm not into religion, actually. I was very against any kind of dogmatic or separative approach. And he's like, no, it's spirituality. And after my first class, changed my life. And then I devoted my life to teaching it ever since.
Amazing. All right. Awesome. Well, let's unpack some of these spiritual life laws that are talked about in Kabbalah. So one of the things that I believe is life is always teaching us lessons, but we tend to not listen to those little whispers on our path in life, and we will keep getting the same result over and over, and that voice will just get louder and louder until we listen. So I would love to hear, in Kabbalah, is there some spiritual law that applies to this?
Sure. So what Kabbalah explains is that when the soul comes to this world, it comes with the express purpose as a vessel to receive what's called the light of the Creator. This is a universal energy that is already given and available to all souls, that includes all the spiritual and physical forms of fulfillment. So in the same way that you take a white light and refract it through a prism, you get all the colors of the rainbow. If you take the light of the Creator and refract that, you have all the pleasures and fulfillments that people are looking for. So if a person is looking for love, that's a color that exists within the light of the creator. If a person is looking for their soulmate or abundance or healing or certainty, courage, like whatever we're all looking for, it exists within this energy force. So the Kabbalists explain is instead of chasing the colors, find a way to connect your soul to that force. And then all the colors come to you in the right way, in the right time, both physically and spiritually in this world. So that's the soul's birthright. That's the soul's mission. And what happens is the soul comes into a world of darkness in order to earn and be a co-creator of that light. Because if we receive this light for free, we would experience what's called a type of shame, which would virtually nullify the fulfillment. We know what it feels like when we receive something that we haven't earned. We know what a teenager feels like who's born to a very wealthy family and all is granted to him or her, and money, wealth, access. Usually these are the types of people that actually fall deeper into depression or have suicidal tendencies or find their way into drugs, because when you receive something that you have not worked for, you have not earned, you end up resenting the giver and resenting yourself. So the contract between the souls and the creator is we come down to a world of darkness, separate from our soulmate, separate from knowing our fulfillment, our purpose, separate from really answers. And we have so many questions. And now we need to earn this light. We need to earn this energy. That's part one. Yeah. So part two is, well, how do we earn? Kabbalists say that we earn by becoming like the creator. Well, how do we do that? We are born with qualities that are opposite the creator. We call this our soul's correction. Tikkun, it's called. And so each one of us comes to this world with certain tikkun, fear of abandonment, anger issues, control issues, deep traumas that we've carried from past life. And our soul actually chooses the destiny that is perfect to awaken that correction and transform it. So our soul chooses our parents. If you have alcoholic parents or absent parents or parents that are cold or parents that are helicoptering you, overloving, overbearing, all of this was pre-chosen by your soul, knowing that your soul needed exactly that to awaken that which it needs to change and then transform it. And as a result, becoming like the creator, accessing that energy and having miracles in your life. That's kind of the intro.
So how do we really listen to that calling? You know, how do we listen to those redirections? What would you say to that?
The first thing I often share with people is first, we have to let go of this idea that we're not in control. We are completely in control of all the fulfillment in our life. That's number one. Number two, you are destined to receive everything. If you desire it, it's because the creator has created it for you to receive. You would never want something that wasn't meant for you and waiting for you. So I always tell people, like, what do you want? And sometimes people are like, well, these things I want, I don't think I can have. I don't know when I'll have. It will take time. And there's a lot of limited beliefs. But the truth is, if you want it, you're destined to have it. And you can actually have it immediately if you go through the proper transformation. So I often tell people, number one, realize you have complete control over everything. Number two, everyone is an actor in your movie. It's all actually quite an illusion. Everything is a test. Everything is testing your consciousness and testing you to elevate, become the best version of yourself. As soon as you take it personally, you step outside of the world of miracles. As soon as you blame someone else or blame a country or blame an economy or blame a president or blame your family, blame your circumstance, which we all do, at that exact moment, energetically, we step outside of the world of miracles. And so the blessings can't come anymore. So the first thing we need to know is just how beautifully this world has been designed for each one of us to access this realm of fulfillment and miracles. Just knowing that alone is what changes people's lives. Just knowing that your life changes. That's number one. I mean, number two, if you want me to go deeper.
Yeah, let's go.
Here's what's powerful. I always say, if 8 billion people in the world try to stop you from finding true love, and like imagine 8 billion people like writing on social media horrible things about you, the worst human, like imagine 8 billion people stopping you from finding your soulmate, but you've done the spiritual work to earn that person must come to you no matter what. Even if everyone tries to stop you, that's why it does not matter what you see, what you hear, what you feel. None of that matters. All that matters is doing the work to become like the creator to attract that reality. I often make the joke, there are serial killers in prison who get married, who literally have people on the outside of prison writing to them, wanting to be their wives or husbands. It's crazy. If a serial killer in prison can find their soulmate, why can't you?
Well,
it's kind of the joke. Unless you live in LA, I understand how difficult that can be.
True. So let's talk about, because I think before we step into everything that you're talking about, I believe we must also eliminate the things that block us. Yes. And so I think one of the things that block us or hinder us from having what we desire is sometimes, or causes us the most pain and suffering, is our attachments to the things we want. And I'm curious, in Kabbalah, is there something with this mindset around our attachments and that what could limit what we actually desire?
Yes, there's an answer to that. Can you give me a good example so maybe we can make it even more specific?
Okay, yeah, actually. I think a relationship is a good one. Attachment to maybe getting married at a certain time frame, and we are attached to this idea of when, how it's going to look like, the feeling of it, and we're set on that. And if anything goes outside that, we're not fulfilled.
Okay, that's a great point. So let's say I have a desire of the type of relationship I want to have, right? Number one, as we said before, whatever you desire, in some way, in some form, you will be fulfilled. Now, maybe what will happen is you transform a lot of your desires and your desires evolve. We've seen that happen. What a 17-year-old boy or girl desires in a long-term relationship is very different than a 25-year-old or a 30-year-old or 40-year-old, right? So as you evolve, your desires also evolve. So many times you want something, but the universe is blocking it. Often that's a message of you need to evolve your spirituality and your desire, your consciousness, because the frequency you're at now is not conducive for your soulmate. In fact, you'll destroy it. I have a 7-year-old. If I bequeathed, a fortune to him now, or wealth or money of any kind, what is he going to do? He's going to literally destroy it. He does not know what to do with any kind of income. Maybe giving him a $20 allowance is appropriate. And often in relationships, that's what the creator gives us, a $20 allowance, because we're not mature enough yet of how to treat the diamond, which is the soulmate. So I often tell people, everyone is kind of your soulmate. Every soul that comes to you is a soul that was destined for you to evolve you. And whether that means you go through divorce or separation, like there's so much stigma around it. The point is everything is evolving you to the greatest version of yourself. Then that's expanding your vessel and your capacity to receive. So that's one way of first looking at it. I know you're fixated on what you want now, but realize that you are going to evolve. And the faster you evolve, the faster you're going to get to your true essence. And that is also the greatest way to have fulfillment. I often tell people, if you met your soulmate too early or too soon, you will hate them, they will hate you, and you will get divorced and you will destroy them. People think like a soulmate relationship is that which makes me happy no matter what. If you pour a $5,000 bottle of wine into a dirty styrofoam cup that you just drank coffee from, this wine is no longer enjoyable. You do not taste the premium quality of the wine. The vessel is what's important, not the liquid, not the energy. The energy is going to be compromised by a dirty vessel. So that's the first thing I would say to anybody. Hey, you just don't know where you're going to be and where you need to be. So let's focus on that first. Don't fixate on what you want, because creator might actually want to give you much more than what you think you want. That's number one. Number two, Kabbalah, I talk about this in Kabbalah 1 in my masterclass. It's like the last class talks about the frequency of certainty. The more certainty you have, the faster you will gain the things you want in your life. The more doubts you have, you push away miracles, you push away love, you push away answers, you push away fulfillment. Certainty in what? Having certainty in this person is my soulmate, or having certainty in this home is my home and I'm going to bid on it, or having certainty in this business deal needs to happen the way I want it to. That's a limited type of certainty. What we're talking about is certainty in the light of the creator. that no matter what's going on in my life, it's for the good and the fulfillment will happen. In fact, it's already happened. I just haven't experienced it yet. That level of certainty always connects you to the realm of miracles and speeds up your process. So I often tell people, disconnect yourself from mundane certainty of this thing is mine. This situation needs to go my way. What if there's like 10 people, like let's say there's a home that you love and there's 10 people bidding on it. And you're like, I have certainty that my bid will be accepted. What if this is the worst home for you? What if the energy of this home is destructive for your family? What if there's, a hole in the roof you don't know about, or the soil has been eroded in such a way that people didn't recognize? What if this home actually energetically causes you to make less money in your life? Because we know the home is a vessel energetically for abundance as well. You don't know that. So don't have certainty, or don't have mind over matter that you're going to get this house. Have certainty that the creator is going to take care of the situation. So you can go to bed without anxiety, without doubts, knowing that if you lost the bid, you're still taken care of.
I think that's so easily said, but harder to do. But I think it is truly one of the most important things we should really try to lean more into, because I think that's the thing. In hindsight, people always look back at their previous relationship. They're like, oh, I've said this many times, like I wanted to marry that one person. I thought he was the one. And like, thank goodness he wasn't. Right. And so we always look back. And so there's always a reason why, and it's always to serve us in our highest good, as you're mentioning. So good. And you kind of brushed over doubt. So I would love to talk about doubt, because we all doubt ourselves. We're all the most critic of ourselves. And so I know I've heard you say that doubt is the root of all disease. So if you could kind of crystallize this for us, and how we could really minimize the doubts we have, most importantly, about ourselves.
Okay. Well, the more you begin to learn about creation and about your soul, the more naturally you start to have certainty in yourself. We also see this from the type of people you spend time with. If you spend time with people who are of lower consciousness, who have doubts themselves, who complain, who feel like they're a victim of life, energetically, in your own aura, you start to feel those doubts, and you start to see the illusion in a stronger way in your own life. You start to feel that maybe you yourself will never be happy. You start to think that, people are against me, or life isn't fair. You start to absorb all of that consciousness. The first thing that I've always learned is, how are you picking your community? How are you picking your mentors? Who are the people you're choosing to spend time with? And are you going out of your way to spend time with people who have already achieved energetically what you are trying to achieve? Because the fastest way to get to any place you want to get to is to, via osmosis, attach yourself and energetically bond yourself to people who are already there. And you can even isolate certain qualities that you like about someone and throw away the peel, as I say. Take the fruit, throw away the peel. If there's a quality you like about someone, take them to lunch and ask them all about this quality. How did you achieve this state of consciousness? What did you do in your life? What struggles did you go through? What could you teach me? How could I connect to that same energy? I mean, if you did that once a week on any given quality you're trying to obtain in your own life, you would absorb that energy and have so much more certainty in that area within probably weeks or months. Right. So that's the first piece of advice I have for people is, or like, what is the wisdom you're listening to? What is the energy that goes into your ears, the consciousness that goes into your ears? Are you listening to content that's giving you certainty? Or are you listening to content that's giving you anxiety? Immediately, once I start to listen to something that gives me anxiety, I realize this is going to lower my vibration. This is going to give me doubts. And then when I have doubts, I'm going to disconnect from the world of miracles, world of light, and I'm going to connect to the world of chaos. Like, is it worth it? Oh, but I want to know what's going on. Friend wants to tell you some evil speech. A friend wants to tell you some gossip about what's happening. Feels good for a second. You feel like you have a little bit more information, but for what? So now you have doubts. You have negativity inside of you. Your aura is punctured. All these spiritual and physical viruses start to come in. Your life starts to go down the tubes, literally because someone spoke a little gossip and you listened to it. And then you had more judgment. And then you start judging yourself, by the way. Because deep down inside, we're all very spiritual beings, We know what it feels like to vibrate at the creator's level. And when we start judging other people, listening to evil speech and gossip, we actually start to hate ourselves for it, even though we don't realize it. The worst is what's called the gossip monger, the person who's addicted to speaking it and addicted to hearing it. They subconsciously look for it. They look for people who have something to say, and they look for people who will listen to them. This is actually the kind of person that has the most drama or chaos in their lives. If you see someone, despite being a good person, they always have drama and chaos, it means potentially they are a hidden gossip monger. They are talking when they should not be talking. They are talking about people who they should not be talking about. And they're just, even worse, they're justifying it, that they're doing somebody a favor, that they're helping the situation, that they're just bringing the truth out. Anybody who tells you, I just want to reveal the truth, is most likely causing the most amount of chaos. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't speak up if you see something wrong. But often people will say, oh, did you hear so-and-so is going through this situation? Or did you hear this person's dating that? Or can you believe that they spent this much money on that? I'm just telling the truth. I just want the truth to be known. That level of negativity is so destructive. And then you justify it saying that you're spiritual and you're just helping people. But in reality, you're part of the problem, not the solution. And by the way, I don't even know why I'm sharing this. I don't think I've ever talked so much about gossip or evil speech on a podcast before. But often when these things come out of nowhere, it's because someone's going through it or somebody needs to hear it. And hopefully it minimizes the chaos that people are going through.
It's funny. I know of somebody that speaks about this being her problem, actually. So it's very interesting that you're mentioning on the podcast. And it's one person that prays a lot about it, of like, to make sure like she doesn't overspeak her words when it's not appropriate. So so maybe there's a reason.
Wow. Something else, think about it. Every word that we speak creates a force, an angel. If it's a positive word, it creates a positive force. If it's a negative word, it creates a negative force, a negative angel. And these angels go and cause havoc and destruction in our own lives. And what do we do more than anything in a given day? We talk. So you could be an amazing person, a spiritual person, a giving person, a warm person. You could be changing people's lives and really helping people and being such a wonderful human. But you could speak 5,000 negative words via complaining, via looking for approval, via talking about other people, true or not, via brown nosing or just kind of like saying words that are unnecessary. These are all the categories of evil speech. And you could create these 5,000 negative words and it will literally cancel out all the positive things you're doing. You could be having a charity where you're saving like millions of lives and like feeding millions of people and all this amazing work you're doing, and it would be canceled out by the 5,000 negative words you're saying a day via complaining, gossiping, saying the unnecessary, looking for approval. When people realize that, like, oh my God, like my words are canceling out all of this goodness that I'm doing, just be quiet. Just be more silent. People who are silent are successful.
So
people who are silent are successful. That is so valuable because they're not creating havoc unknown.
Which makes me, what brings me to one of the things I've heard you speak about is that we should be silent when we're starting something new or something new is coming into our life, that we shouldn't, we should remain quiet for a period of time. Can you kind of touch on that? Because I think that kind of concludes into that.
Yeah, I think I posted this piece of content on Instagram. I think I got like 80,000 shares. Like within a couple of weeks, people really resonated with this idea that the evil eye is so strong. People's jealousy is so strong. And it's often jealousy from people who love us. And jealousy is defined as anything that causes someone else to feel lack or pain awakens the negative force of jealousy. So I often give the example of if a woman is pregnant and her sister, who's been trying to get pregnant, can't, and you tell your sister, hey, I'm pregnant, and your sister feels so happy for you, but also it awakens her pain that she's not pregnant, she is subconsciously giving you evil eye and hurting the baby. Mm-hmm. So we always say the first 40 to 90 days of anything are so embryonic, so seed level, so vulnerable. Do not share unless it's with people who you absolutely must share. If a couple is pregnant, They should not share for 3 months with anyone, including parents, siblings, maybe your gynecologist, obviously, because for health purposes,
Right.
maybe your husband or your partner for obvious reasons, but you do not want to share, because what happens is energetically it becomes vulnerable. Even if these people are happy for you, there could be a chance that they tell people, which often people do, and those people will awaken lack and have jealousy. And that could hurt the transfer of the soul, which is coming to the embryo within this first 90 days. So in the first 90 days, the soul of the baby is coming down in a strong way. And any negative energy, such as evil eye or jealousy, could disturb that and result in a miscarriage or other complications.
Goodness. Yeah, I think that's very common. Number one, that people will feel certain jealousy when it's something they want themselves. I think that's just being our human self. But I think also, where was I going to go with this? I just totally lost my train of thought. When somebody becomes really famous or their work really starts getting out there, all the haters then come out.
They all come. Right?
They
So
all
can you
come.
prosper in silence for as long as possible? That's the key.
Well, so what would you say in the regard to talking about social media? Because I know you recently are showing up on social media. I'm sure you're getting a lot of love, but you're probably getting some haters, I'm sure.
Sure.
So how do you how should somebody handle that energetically when haters do come? What would you say is the response?
So there's two things. One is, let's say your role is to be forward facing to the public. Right? I shared with you that for 20 years, I was teaching in private, not on social media. I only got on social media about 6 or 7 months ago and had no following, just started. One of the things I learned this from clients of mine or students of mine who have followings. A lot of it has to do, number one, with your intention of posting. When you post and you have true intention to give and to share and not take from your audience, not take approval, not look for validation, not post unnecessarily, not post to manipulate or control. How often do we post maybe because we're trying to send a message to like one person out there? Right? Like, how many times did somebody who was listening to us, maybe you posted something on your story because you wanted your ex to see it,
Right?
Or you wanted something. It was a manipulation. All of that energetically opens you up and exposes you to evil eye, jealousy, and judgment. And then it literally slows down the algorithm, creates chaos in your life, and it siphons off your own personal light from your soul. So I'm highly conscious of just two things. Number one is I rarely will post something personal unless I feel it's of true value to the audience. Okay. I'm not just posting because I want to see myself be posted, or I'm sticking strictly to the content that I know will be helpful. And what I've seen is actually very little to no negative comments ever if I'm posting with the right consciousness. Now, not to say that if you get negativity, you have the wrong consciousness, because there's also another spiritual law which says as you do grow and become more famous and more successful, the creator sends the haters to you to help cleanse your ego so you can go even higher. Because what happens to all of us, myself included, is when you get a lot of approval or respect, you start to think you're the one, you're the man, you're the woman, you're the person who created all of this. Look how smart I am. Look how wise I am. Look how much people love me. Of course I'm a channel. All of that begins to block the light of the creator. We are most connected to the creator when we love ourselves, but we also feel like we desperately need the creator simultaneously. Then you become a channel. Otherwise, arrogance takes over, ego takes over, and people feel it. And then the haters come to cleanse you so you can go higher. They're not actually trying to destroy you. It looks like they're trying to destroy you, but they were sent by the creator to help you let go of the excess baggage of negativity so you can elevate and climb higher spiritually and on a soul level.
Thank you for explaining that. So you might have already touched on this, but let's see if you give another answer to this. What do you feel is the biggest block to all that we desire?
The biggest block, according to Kabbalah, to receiving all that we desire is the belief system that I do not deserve it. That's the starting point. A limited belief system about what I'm allowed to receive, when I'm allowed to receive it, if I'm allowed to receive it? Is it shameful to receive it? How dare I receive it? Should my sister receive it first? What will people think of me when I receive it? How much work I have to put in to get it? Maybe I need to suffer a lot before I get it. There's so many complicated, limited belief systems that we all have around receiving that the Creator is very simple. The Creator wants to give us endlessly. The Creator has already given it. The Creator wants all of it to come in right away. There's no limitation from the Creator's point of view. We're the ones who overcomplicate everything. We create all of these, it's got to be this way, it's got to be that way. There was a group of people I asked once, I said, what do you believe about success? The universal theme was you have to suffer to be successful. So they put that spiritual mandate out there that even if the Creator wanted to give them success within a year, they wanted to override that and say, hey, I need 10 years of suffering before I'm successful. So the Creator's like, well, I was going to give it to you in a year, but your belief system, which is your vessel, is requesting that it be broken up into a 10-year installment plan of a lot of pain and suffering. And because you have free will in this world, because you want to be a co-creator, I will grant you your wish. If Elon Musk thinks it's easy to colonize Mars, he's going to attract the engineers, the wisdom, and the wherewithal to manifest that reality probably faster than a guy can open up a local coffee shop here. He's spending two years just creating a logo and trying to sign a lease because he thinks that's a hard thing to do and that's the way it is. By then, Elon Musk has already colonized Mars. I mean, which one's more difficult? It's whatever you believe is what is the reality that will come about. There's no limitation in the Creator. There's only limitation in the vessel.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. You know, I think when I think about relationships, I think as people get older, they start to say, or you hear this a lot, like there's no good men left, like, you know, they're all taken and I'll never find anybody. And people get on this negative loop and kind of as you're touching on. So I would love to hear in regards to relationships, what do we need to know to help us really prosper in relationship?
Well, there are no good men left for an insecure person. And there are no good men left for an angry person. And there are no good men left for a person who feels they're a victim. But that goes equally for no good women left. So when people say, hey, I've been on 50 dates, I haven't found something good, is because, remember, you're going to this date with a styrofoam cup with coffee residue, and you're looking for a $5,000 bottle of wine. And even if it's served to you, you're going to taste coffee and styrofoam in your mouth. So the transformation has to happen within us. And I have seen this over 22 years of counseling couples and 40,000 hours of personal coaching. I have seen the people who truly make the change within a day. I've seen them attract relationships that are unlike anything they've ever had before and what they were looking for. And that's off the heels of a 2, 3, 4, 5-year drought of all the men are the same. So it is highly contingent upon your consciousness, upon your spirituality, upon how much you've cleansed yourself of trauma, of fear, of negativity, of victim consciousness, in order to tap into that vibration and that reality where your soulmate, that relationship, that love comes to.
Thank you. Okay, so if someone is new to this, new to Kabbalah and your teachings that you're kind of sharing today, I know there are so many, and obviously people will be more intrigued to learn more about these spiritual laws. And I know you have an online course, which we'll touch on. But before we do, I would love to hear if somebody listening to this today and there are two most powerful things, and again, we might have touched on this, that they should walk away with today that are the spiritual laws, what would those be?
That the world is perfect and that the system is perfect and perfectly designed for you. And everything you hope to have in your life, never despair because it's on its way to you. How long it takes, how painful it is, and how many lifetimes it takes, that is your free will. And you can choose to spread it out. You could choose to manifest it right away. The number one thing people have told me the last few decades of studying Kabbalah, I wish I learned it earlier because I'm experiencing in 3 months what used to take me 13 years. And the second thing I would say is everything in this world is an illusion. There's only you and the Creator. And every single person, from your children to your siblings to your parents to your friends to your coworkers, to your bosses, to your customers, are all divinely tuned to support you to become the greatest version of yourself. And the only reason you cannot see that is because that is by design. Because if you could see it, your free will would be taken away. The game would be over. So you need to almost feel like everybody's against you. But in reality, they're all supporting you. And even though I'm telling you that now, there's still going to be a force that's going to make you doubt it. That force is still louder than the voice of this podcast right now. But we need to keep hearing it, and we need to keep supporting each other to know that is the actual truth.
Amazing. Okay. So, and you have an online course for Kabbalah. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. So I try to make it really simple for people. I've learned that when things are complicated or difficult, there's a lot of barriers to entry. Yeah. We just move on. And I've taught thousands of different courses in the last 20 years, but the one that's the most powerful and life-changing for people is called Kabbalah 1. And 6 years ago, I developed it into a masterclass online, which is just beautifully produced and easy to listen to and understand wherever you go, on the go, in the gym, in the car, however you want to do it. And I also made it completely donation-based. Pay what you can. So even if you can afford nothing, pay nothing. If you can afford $1, pay $1, whatever you want. And people all around the world are signing up for it, listening to it, and it's changing their life. And even if before that you want to just listen to some of my like bite-sized pieces of content on Instagram, that's probably the most popular way people start. So you can listen to my Instagram. It's David Ghiyam is my handle. Or the masterclass, which is Kabbalah1.com, which is KABBALAHONE.com. Super easy. And I promise, and by the way, you can message me. I get hundreds of messages a day about people whose lives have changed from all around the world. I always love hearing it. So I think within the first hour or two, your life will change. And I would love to hear from you if it does.
Amazing. Okay. So that will be in the show notes, of course. And I have to mention this because you're the co-founder of Mary Ruth
Organics.
I don't know why. Yeah. Mary Ruth Organics, which is your wife actually. And I know it's massively successful. So I want people to know what is this. And of course, as I mentioned, it will all be in the show notes, but can you just kind of share a little bit about?
Yeah, there's this little other thing that I do, which is called Mary Ruth Organics.
Small little thing.
Yeah. So my whole life has been devoted to nonprofit work. So when I was 20, I joined Kabbalah Center, which is a nonprofit organization. I just 100% of my time went to charity. When I was 29, Mary Ruth and I, we realized we were passionate about health and wellness. So she's really the one that's the expert in all of this. And together we started the brand that's called Mary Ruth Organics. And we didn't know what was going to come of it. We started with liquid vitamins, knowing that it was really solving a problem for people. Capsules were the primary way that people were consuming their supplements, and capsules have a low absorbability. There's pill fatigue. People are like not wanting to swallow like 20, 30 capsules a day. So how do we develop efficacious, highly absorbent, sugar-free, clean, organic, vegan liquid vitamins that taste really good too? We started that 10 years ago in 2014. And today we have 220 products. We're in 180 countries. We're the largest seller of liquid vitamins in the nation. We're the largest vitamin brand on Amazon nationwide. And we're number one in infant, toddler, and kids as well. So that's really what we're known for. Trusted brand amongst families, but for all stages of life.
Organic, and I would say tested, like there's a lot of, he's glancing over it, but that's okay.
we try to reinvest all our profits, or most of our profits back into being B Corp certified, social, environmental, governmental, like highest standard. And the biggest thing I think we do that is really rare is we're CLP certified, which means that we test every product every year. We retest for 200 toxins, plastics, chemicals, and pesticides, and heavy metals. So everything that mom and dad are scared of that could be in a vitamin, we test it by a third party and we certify it. It's very expensive. Some brands only do like one product or like their hero product. We've decided to do it across the entire portfolio and make sure that the brand itself is certified. So I think that's really what differentiates us from so many of other brands out there. I'm really proud of that.
That's so huge. Yeah, I deeply appreciate that because as we know in America, there are so many toxins in our products, in our food and everything. And so to have that certification is really powerful. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're taking these vitamins to help overcome different deficiencies. And we have a vitamin, in fact, our most popular, which just came out recently and became our number one product, is like a hair growth product. I was taking Nutrafol for a while as I turned 40, and I was realizing, I want to really take care of my hair. And Nutrafol is clinically studied, and I realized it's one of the only brands that are clinically studied. And I said to our team, I said, why am I taking a capsule? Why can you create a product that is better, more efficacious? Let's get it clinically studied ingredients. And we came out with this product and had it CLP certified because sometimes the toxins in your product are what's causing the hair loss. True. And so get all the right vitamins, nutrients, get it clinically tested, but these toxins could actually be canceling those benefits out. So we created this product and it has become like the absolute best-selling hair growth product in the nation. So also something we're super proud of.
Okay. I'm going to go check it out myself too. So thank you. Okay. So David, just to kind of wrap up, obviously, where can people best listen to the content you share? Of course, we're going to plug everything in, but where's your social media? If you could share that. Yeah. My social media is on Instagram. I'm on TikTok too, but just my handle, David Ghiyam, Ghiyam as in Mary. And then, my website is also davidghiyam.com. It has all my courses there. All of it's for charity. And the most popular being the Kabbalah One, which you can also access on KabbalahOne.com. Amazing. Okay. So my final question that I ask all my guests, if you were to share a piece of wisdom, a life lesson that you've learned that you just feel you need to shout out to the world, what would that piece of wisdom be and why? I know you shared so much wisdom already, but this is the most powerful one. I would say the most difficult, confusing, painful moments of your life are the ones where your greatest destiny is being created. And so be patient through that process. Don't be reactive. Don't look for instant gratification. Don't hit the eject button. Feel those feelings and have certainty. Take small steps of joyful things every day. Soon that process will expire and you'll be handed that new destiny. Oh, so good. I think we all need to hear that. Thank you so much. I so appreciate your time and everything that you shared today and just giving us a peek into the wisdom of Kabbalah and how it could really serve our life. So I hope other people will continue learning more about it and deepen their own transformation and calling in all that they desire. So thank you so much, David, for your time. Thank you.